attended the Rhode Island Anime Con. Now, the Rhode Island Anime Con, just for a quick backstory, has been running for about 3 years. It's run by the same guys who do the Comic Con here, and sponsored by the Cardi's guys, I guess. Either way, after so many times in like Rhode Island Comic Con, they noticed that the anime voice actors are really getting a lot of hype behind it and a lot of big lines. So, of course, this is their 3rd year in doing an anime con, which I will shorten as RIAC, because saying Rhode Island Anime Con over and over again will get me tongue-tied, and it's just a whole work, and I don't feel like dealing with it. So let's start. It's a 2-day event. It was taking place on June 7th and 8th, a Saturday and a Sunday. Currently, it is still a 2-day convention, which honestly, it should stay that way. I don't think it should be any bigger. Rhode Island Anime Con is held pretty well, it being 3 days and taking almost 2 centers. The Amica Center, the AMP, formerly known as the Dunk, if you're a real Rhode Islander, the Dunk is what it is, as well as the Civic Center. Either way, the Dunk is pretty much the biggest one. First impressions of the 3rd year of the RIAC was I noticed it was a lot more organized, a lot more places to sit, which is a big thing with me. And the panels, they actually have panel rooms and more panels. I remember last year they were experimenting a little bit more with panels. It was kind of strange because I remember there was just a single panel, like a set of my dumbass, a set of chairs in the middle of the convention with people talking. So you're just walking, looking at stuff, and all of a sudden someone's like, all right, everyone, we're going to talk about making wigs. So wigs today. And you're just like, what the fuck's going on over there? So the second floor is where they had panels, because there's multiple panel rooms up there, which I'm glad they've upgraded to using those things. As well as the 3rd floor, you had a little bit more like tabletop gaming and, of course, movies you can watch. They had 2 screens. One was playing movies and one was playing TV shows. They also had a maid cafe brought to you by Taku Sentai. I'll put the name over here somewhere. They're always there. Great company, local joint. I believe they have a brick and mortar store in not the Burlington Mall. One of them, yeah, Burlington Mall, I think. Fuck it. I'll put another thing here to tell me what it is. Going on more about the setup of the convention, it's one giant square, which is really easy because, well, it's a convention hall. Super easy to get around. As I mentioned before, there was a lot more chairs and tables, which also, they had chairs, tables, and then food here, which really worked out really well because a lot of the tables they set up weren't always completely full. I remember last year they put a bunch of tables outside by the entrance, but it was just very few people sat there. And I think when I went there, I maybe seen a total of like 5 to 10 people there at a time, if not no one at all. But every time I got in there, I would call my friends when they would come in, and it would be, hey, if you walk in, just go all the way to the right, and there'll be a bunch of tables, and I'll be right there. So meeting people and just catching up with people was a lot easier. Speaking of catching up with people, I ran into a bunch of friends from the show, from the Both Fees podcast. I ran into King of the Con, his wife Ashley. I ran into Jackie. Who else? Of course, we had my boy Mad Noob, and I had some new friends who came in here who I want to bring onto the podcast. And I had a friend who experienced his first anime convention. Boy, was he hyped. So the con runs from 10 to 6 in the afternoon, or 9 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon if you're a fancy guy with a VIP badge. Ooh. Thought I heard something over there. Anyway, so with that, the convention, I gotta say, with it being its 3rd year, it's still really just a big artist alley with a meet and greet side, and, it really is just for hanging out. Like I was mentioning before, as a cosplayer, it's one of those cons that I like going to because it's an area that I know in Providence that I can start cosplaying and I don't have to worry about too much. I park at the mall, walk right over to the Sky Bridge, boom, I'm there. So for me and for a lot of my friends, Rhode Island Anime Con, RIAC, is a good convention for starting out new cosplays. Once the con's over, that Saturday night, there is an after party. Now, normally I never go to these things. It just seems like, just hang out, listen to music. I'm kind of an old raver, so I'm not going to lie, kind of old. So none of those things, they do appeal to me, but I don't really have, a lot of my friends don't really rave. But This year, because it was King of the Cons and Ashley's first time, they'd reach out to me, and they live far away from me. So they were like, hey, Zuko, we're going to go to the after party. Why don't you join us? And I said, at first I was like, nah, I don't know. But then they're never around, so it gave me a reason to go to those things because I just want to hang out with my friends. Now for the after party, I would say it was pretty good. The room was kind of underwhelming. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but it was serviceable. I kind of enjoyed being there. But the one thing that kicked so much ass was they had a screen, just a giant screen set up, and it had a number on it. And it said, text this number to see your texts and to send photos. Now, me and King of the Con were just like, holy shit, it's time to fucking meme the shit down so hard. And the best part was, it wasn't just us. It was a lot of people. And I have to hand it to the crowd. No one posted anything obscene. No one posted anything that I would find, terrible or offensive. Everyone passed the vibe check. Put something funny. Put something stupid. I threw in memes in there. Some people put pictures of their cats. Awesome. Some of the highlights that we put up there, someone put something about like where the femboys at. I love femboys. Based. Matt got to put his silly memes about him doing the white monster stuff. Love that. One guy posted a pregnant Sonic, which is really fucking funny. And when I send it to the Discord group I'm on, they got the number and they're like, yo, Ryan, hold up. Let me post something. I want you to record it. And it was Christian, Eggman Miku, and they posted the Weezer photo of them with Duncan Miku, Brazilian Miku, Red Sox Miku, and Eggman Miku. Great time overall. Drinks, dancing. I'd say we chilled there for about 3 hours. Like I said, we're old. We just, after that we parted ways and I went home. With Sunday being the final day, it's a little bit shorter. Once again, it's about 10 to 4, 10 to 5, roughly. Nothing too crazy. Which kind of goes into what I'm about to have my small criticisms about the con. This is probably going to be a shorter video because, honestly, there's not really much to talk about. Rhode Island Anime Con currently is just one big artist alley. It is a large artist alley, a giant square in a convention center. One side being, once I said before, autographs, artist alley, and vendors, and food. You walk around it once, twice, 3 times, of course. You gotta do the classic walk around the con 10 times to just take everything in, and then you do that 11th time to start looking at things and actually buying stuff. It's just that to a T. Like I said, they tried doing panels, which is good. That's a step in the right direction. The one thing I believe they are missing is cosplay games. I think if Rhode Island Anime Con, I keep doing that even though I said I wouldn't, RIAC were to start doing cosplay games, death matches, masquerades, 18 plus dating games, lip sync battles, cosplay chess if you can get somebody to do that. Shouts out to Kirk. They didn't do that in fucking Anime Boston. But if they can put any type of games in there in the following year, I think the con would be even better because let's be real. Unfortunately, Rhode Island RIAC is a corporate gig. So they're not going to have the things you find at smaller cons, which I accept. I think that's what it is. It's a comic con, but with anime. So you're not going to have all the games. You're not going to have all the fun pageantry of like people acting as their characters. If they do, they're just cringy kids running around, jumping at Nezuko's and just being their character, which is fine. Those kids will learn. But overall, Rhode Island Anime Con for the 3rd year was really good. I can only see it improving. If they can just branch a little bit away from that corporate vibe, it'd be really fine. It'd be really good. But overall, for the 3rd year of RAC, I can't complain. I had a great time. And if you're in the Rhode Island area around summer and you can catch it, check it out. Check it out for one day. I think you'd like it. Either way, thank you for watching. It's Local Himbo. Stay smooth.